Women of Reddit, what's your cringy, nice guy story?
The one that was the most upsetting was a guy who had been my friend for years, who I was close to and confided in, telling me that my boyfriend at the time had cheated on me. I wanted to confront the boyfriend, and this so-called friend kept dissuading me, telling me,
"Just drop contact with him, and try to comfort me with physical contact instead."
Obviously I still confronted my boyfriend. He said no such thing happened, and it turned out my friend had made it all up.
"Don't bother to verify this, just trust me, now let's
Him repeatedly asking,
What, you don't believe me?
was really what made me not believe him.
The number one sign of someone who is 100% telling the truth.
To tell you the truth, I'll be honest with you. Yo, real talk. Don't you believe me? Don't you trust me? Do you think I would lie about something like this? Would I gaslight a fuckable woman like you?
Believe me.
He probably had this rom-com fantasy in his head, that your eyes would be open, after you dump the cheating boyfriend and realize he was the one you were always waiting for.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a shame because you expect shitty things from strangers, but it's shocking coming from a friend.
A guy at a bar bought me a drink, even though I really tried to not accept it, and he asked me if I was single. I told him that I was dating someone, and he took the drink back and called me in.
Ugly whore.
Okay, haha.
As we all know, being in a committed relationship makes you a whore.
And ugly.
God, what is with you women leading men on? You go out in public with your legs and arms and consume liquids. What kind of a country do we live in, where a guy can't buy his way into your pants for the price of a $4 drink?
How hard is it to say, well, I'm sure he's a lucky guy, hope you enjoy the drink, have a good evening. Then again, I'm a guy, and the closest I've ever been to being hit on in a bar was being smacked on the ass by a woman who was either 20 years my senior, or my age, and just smoked like a freight train. Still not sure about that one.
It's not really nice guy, but similar weird dude. At a bar story, I was having drinks with a friend and playing with my hair with my left hand, out of nervous habit, ring finger showing, and some guy yelled across the bar,
"Okay, we get it, you're married."
It took me a while to connect the dots, that he was talking about me, but it was so strange to me, that he took it as a personal insult.
How much of a narcissistic lunatic does someone have to be to think that way? Any movement is obviously some sign meant for him, since people only exist in relation to him.
People believe the earth is flat, dog, it's all fair game.
This is the wisest thing I think I've ever read on this website.
This story is about my husband, and how he caught the bad end of a so-called nice guy. A few years before I met my husband, he decided to go to a party. He gets there, and some random girl walks up to him and says,
"You're cute,"
and kisses him. This amused him, so he started chatting with her. While chatting, he notices a very angry, short man standing next to her. The man is scowling at my husband, and it's making him uncomfortable. He can tell the guy is pissed at the attention the girl is giving him, and it's just not worth it, so he stops talking to random girl, turns away, and starts walking to another room. It's at this point my husband feels short man punch him in the back. When he turns around, short man is running away and actually runs out of the house and never returns to the party. Husband laughs it off, cause it wasn't even a hard punch, but then somebody notices that my husband is bleeding, and there is a hole in his shirt. The short hadn't punched him, he stabbed him. Random girl saw this all go down and was pretty mortified. Turns out the short dude was obsessed with her. They were best friends, and he accompanied her everywhere. The knife was pretty small, so it didn't do any real damage, but he still has the scar. Edit, somebody did call an ambulance. Ambulance showed up, but my husband refused to go to the hospital. He didn't want to stop partying nor pay for an ambulance ride, plus it didn't hurt that much, and he felt fine. Instead, him and a friend caused it up and he continued to party. Mind you, in my husband's drunken stupor he is finding this whole thing hilarious. Actually, he still finds it hilarious. When he woke up the next day he was in a bit of pain and realized he should get it checked out, so he marched down to the hospital, got checked out and fixed up, and went home. At no point did he encounter the police, so he never reported it.
I'm picturing the short man, as 4 foot tall with a mustache and an extremely tight t-shirt, scurrying away penguin style with his little knife in hand. Edit, the consensus seems to be that the husband's assailant was probably Danny DeVito, but may also have been Wario.
We met on OkCupid, and after like 2 weeks decided to go meet. We both weren't into coffee, so we decided to eat a dinner together at his place. We agreed to meet at the mall to buy groceries. He couldn't decide on even one thing, but when I would take a certain brand, he would mention how his grandmother would take some other. At the end I made him pick at least one thing, appetizer, thinking of soup or something, so he picked blueberries. I paid. We came to his apartment. He couldn't cook, which I didn't mind, but he didn't even feel like helping. While I was making the sauce, he mentioned things like, that I am not intelligent enough, because I suck at math and wasn't interested in it, when he was reading his math book to me, for 5 to 10 minutes. Also, that it annoys him, me not being interested in video games. He blushed when I joked and said the word pussy, and also got frustrated when he read poetry to me, and I wasn't that interested. Then we finally sat and ate. He commented,
My mom does it better.
But he also ate pretty much everything. Then all of a sudden he stood up and said,
Now we should kiss and cuddle.
Of course not. I offered to wash the dishes. He didn't even help. I felt sorry for him the entire time. That's why I just didn't leave.
I kept waiting for the story to escalate, but it just got sadder and sadder.
So, not a stereotypical nice guy really, but I met him at a party, gave him a ride home, and after belting out, "Don't stop believing," together, he asked for my number. We went on one date, and texted for a week. Then Saturday morning, I woke up to 50 plus texts that started with asking what I was doing. I was sleeping because I worked in the morning, and went all the way up to,
I should just kill myself, since no one wants to talk to me.
I told him that was unacceptable, as I had already told him I worked Saturday morning, but even if I hadn't, there's no reason to text me over 50 times. If I'm not answering, I'm not answering. He whined about being so nice, and how good he was to me, and blah blah blah. Thankfully, when my friends asked why I was ignoring such a nice guy, showing them the text was enough for them to drop it.
He never stopped believing that you would eventually text back.
He took the midnight train because she won't give him a ride anymore. I work retail, and have for more than 25 years. About 9 years ago, when I worked in a liquor store, I had an older customer that would come in and play flirt with me, or so I thought. A lot of customers play flirted with me, so I didn't think anything of it. Plus, this guy was like twice my age. And I was no spring chicken. I had no idea that he seriously thought we were really flirting. Until one day, he asked me out, not in a regular way, mind you. Oh no, he said.
So, we've known each other for a while now. I'll just wait until you're off tonight, and then we can go out. I'll take you to an expensive restaurant.
I politely declined. He went ballistic. Long story short, the manager banned him from the store for life. Thank God.
There's something truly shitty about seriously trying to flirt with someone at their place of work, since they can't escape and usually have to be nice.
Manager here, this happens every couple months with our bubbly, attractive clerk. People bring gifts, call the store to talk to her, engage her in endless conversations. We've had to threaten to ban 3 different guys, all of them over 40, clerk is 25, after being told point blank they are being creepy and inappropriate. They usually get huffy, and say they'll never shop here again. Great, thank you.
Thank you, for being the kind of manager that has our backs. Really, thank you.
You can't just yada yada the best part. How did he go ballistic?
He started just throwing things off of the shelves, in a liquor store. So, huge mess for us to clean up. I have so many, but I just remembered this one, so I'll go with it. I met this girl in a seminar I was attending. She was super nice and I really liked her, so we became friends. It was her birthday a short time later, and her boyfriend at the time arranged a party bus as a surprise party. I wasn't drinking at the time, but I figured I'd go and hang out for a while. What could go wrong? Right when I got there, one of her guy friends decided he thought I was cute. That's fine. I mean, whatever. I had never met him before, so we exchanged names and the conversation pretty much stopped there. The bus gets there, we all get on, and people start getting progressively more drunk. That's fine. I like to party, and being around drunk people didn't bother me. Well, this one girl got really drunk and decided she wanted to go home with me. She came and sat by me and started to get a bit handsy. so I did the butt scooch migration slowly to the other side of the seat. Other guy from before sees this, comes and sits on the other side of me, and halts my butt scooch migration. They start getting in a drunken argument over who gets to take me home. Mind you, I'm not going home with anybody, but try telling this to these two profoundly drunk people. Drunk girl figures out that if she tries to give me the world's drunkest lap dance, that drunk guy will get progressively more upset. I keep getting up and moving to different parts of this bus. Things were getting weird. We finally get back to the house, and it devolves into a drunken house party. I decide it's time for me to go. I go for one final bathroom trip since it will be a long drive home. I keep getting stopped by random partygoers on the way out telling me that the drunk guy is very upset and I should go talk to him. I look outside and drunk guy, whom I have spoken to for all of 30 seconds ever, is sitting on the sidewalk sobbing and all his friends are around him, trying to cheer him up. Apparently, some girl he is in love with doesn't love him back. I'm told that girl is me. I walk outside, crouch down and apologize that he's sad. I wish him a good night. He starts to cry again. I walk to my car and leave. That was a really weird night.
What, in the actual Some people shouldn't drink.
Some people get super sad drunk. A friend of mine started bawling one night after a profusion of alcohol, telling us all how he was terrible and loved this girl and he had to call her right then, at 2 a.m. He then apologized to a girl at the party for hitting on her, rounded a corner, and passed right the out in the hall.
Some guy messaged me online and seemed nice enough, asked if I'd like to meet up with him. I said sure. He tells me about a Starbucks between our places and said he'd see me in 30 minutes. I was like, whoa, not right now, it's 10 p.m.
He said okay, but he would like to keep talking to me, if it was alright.
A few days later this exchange happens over Messenger. Him.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. 5 minutes pass, so I assume he was busy for a second.
Well, if you don't have anything to say, you bitch, don't lead me on and let me think that we can be together. You're nothing but an effing whore anyways. Only whores lead nice guys like me on. You effing whore.
Yep, nice guy.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.